Hello and welcome back to Take Action News with David Shuster. This is executive producer Daniel Marins, once again guest hosting this show this week, Saturday, July 20th, 2013. Joining me now to discuss his take on the Zimmerman verdict acquitting George Zimmerman of the murder of Trayvon Martin, the unarmed black teenager in Sanford, Florida, is our own Cliff Schechter, the co-owner of We Act Radio. Cliff, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me on, buddy.
So, Cliff, there was a gun dimension to this case. Obviously, there was a racial dimension. But here's what Juror B37 said about the issue of guns.
I think he has every right to carry a gun. I think it's everybody's right to carry a gun, as long as they use it the way it's supposed to be used and be responsible in using it.
Obviously, Cliff, the question that Anderson Cooper posed that elicited that response was saying, look, at the end of the day, here was a community watch person who was carrying a gun. Would he have been in that situation? Would he have led to that altercation had he not been armed? I think the answer is clearly yes. What does that juror's mentality tell you about the politics of guns in this country and the implications they had for the Trayvon Martin case?
It's so much we could talk for a while about it, but I think to get straight to the point, there's inherent racism in it. Not in gun owning per se, but around the gun culture, the attitude that, when Wayne LaPierre stands up and talks about defending yourself and why you need a gun, he always talks about the invading hordes and the gangs that'll knock your door down, the rest. I mean, what does that mean to people? When you have the whole stand your ground law in and of itself is essentially a license to lynch. I'm not really sure what else to say. It's that if you can prove that you were fearful. Well, I hate to tell these guys, but there's a lot of people out there, white people in gated communities, that are fearful of African Americans, so they just get to start shooting. The proliferation of guns, when she says everyone should have a right to a gun. No, that's the problem in our country right now, is there are too many guns, and there are frankly way too many people like George Zimmerman who again and again prove that he should have not have been anywhere near a gun, from having a restraining order against him for domestic abuse to having an altercation where a police officer where he attacked them, to the fact that he had made many racist comments both online and offline. He'd called the police 46 different times on black teenagers. I mean, what more evidence do you need? And if he didn't have a gun, I'd be willing to bet he doesn't get out of that car and this whole thing doesn't happen. So the whole BS theory of the NRA, a good guy with a gun, blah blah blah. In the end, what ends up happening here is you give yahoos like this guy and racists and people like that access to firepower like this, and then their own inner bravado comes out, and here's the result we get.